mechanic versus Kirsten and Joe, okay, as the defendants. It will be filed in a particular court. That, of course, is going to come down to the question of which court does the plaintiff decide to file in. Let's use my scenario here. The scenario that I gave you, where we're talking about our employee of a mechanic shop in Williston who is suing me and my neighbor. What court is this in all likelihood going to be filed in? It's a civil case. Alachua County. Is this a state action or a federal action? It's a state case, right? Can't go to federal court, can it? Why?
It needs to be between states, or a party has to be outside of the state.
There's no diversity of citizenship, because Joe and I live down the street from each other in Florida, right? Okay, so we don't have diversity of citizenship. We have 2 Florida citizens, so diversity would not be the basis for jurisdiction. And we're talking about negligence. Negligence is a state law action. There is no federal question, and thus no basis for federal court jurisdiction. This would be a state action. See how that's tying together? Where we were going with jurisdictional issues, okay? If the employee was suing their employer for discrimination, could it be in federal court?
Yes.
Absolutely, okay? That would be federal question, federal discrimination laws, federal anti-discrimination laws. Anyway, okay, it's a perfect example of a state action. So that jurisdictional basis would be included in the complaint. Jurisdictional basis would say, decedent employee was a resident of Levy County, Florida, suing 2 residents of Alachua County, Florida. The incident arose in Alachua County, naming the parties and the jurisdictional basis and the amount. A complaint will usually contain, according to the Florida Rules of Civil Procedure, a short and plain statement upon which relief can be granted. That means basically the basic components of negligence. So what the complaint in this case will say, it will kind of walk through those components of negligence. We'll say, plaintiff on this date was harmed, defendant did this, defendant was driving down the road, defendant had a tire that flew off, Joe helped install the tire, plaintiff sustained damages as a result of their failure to use reasonable care, and thus should be entitled to damages. And actually most complaints usually don't actually include a damages amount. They usually just say